Welcome to a Farming Simulator 19 Guide to New Mods for Monday, January the 7th with me, MrSealyp. So for today's mods, it is Monday the 7th of January today, and I've started off the Guide to Assistance mod review in this menu to start off with, simply because I've still got a few people asking me various different questions. Now, to get these mods to show up today, I had to turn off my PlayStation completely and restart my PlayStation. What I was doing before was just turning off the game, going back out to the main PlayStation menu, then restarting the game. That didn't work. So what I'll do now is go down to mods. If I press L3 to show all mods, and if I press R1, it will go across that top menu. We should get to latest, and there they are. So the new mods are under the latest heading. By scrolling, you can go L1 or R1, but when you get to latest, they'll be there. So like I say, I had to turn my PlayStation off completely, restart my PlayStation, not just come out of the game and restart the game. I had to do the entire PlayStation for these to show up because they weren't showing up. So we've got a pond water store by Dorset, we've got the bag and lifter pack by Not Ready, and we've got the Fliegl Trailer Pack from VNSFDG2. So what I'm going to do in a minute, we'll jump into the game and we'll have a look at those in a bit more detail. The first one I'm going to look at in today's Guide to Assistance mod review video will be the Pond Water Store by Dorset. I've kind of got an example of it just here. I have to say, it's very impressive. Obviously this is the very basic version of, I'll show you how to place it, what to do with it. There is a video on the Farming Simulator website as part of the mod, and I'll explain this bit here in a moment because this is important, something that you need to be aware of. If I go to my blank area just here, and we go up and we go across to now here's the thing, it's in miscellaneous, and if I click on that and we scroll across to it, it's only £500, euros or dollars to place, which is brilliant. For a water source, that's not bad at all, because the actual water station's 5,000, and then obviously there's ponds and rivers and bits and bobs on the maps. If I click on that now, it gives me that very large circle. Now I don't want to put that down yet. I need to do something first. You need to make a hole first. But be warned, if you look at that, you've got that kind of rough bit in the middle. That's where your reeds are going to be. Reeds, weeds, whatever you want to call them. That's pretty much, well, just off centre of that entire disc. Your pond water source can go out as far as that disc. Anything further than that and you'll get the edge, that lipping bit that I showed you just now. So you have to be careful you don't go beyond the edge of that circle. As long as you stay within that, you'll be absolutely fine. So what you need to do is start off with a hole. It doesn't have to be a big hole, and you don't have to have a massive, you know, water feature or anything like that at all. So if we go into landscaping and zoom in a little bit, actually what I should have done, I do this every single time, don't I? I need to go to help window 1 just to make it easier to see what we're doing. Start landscaping, there we go. So I can have it as a circle, I can have it, you know, whatever size I want, and I'm going to put a hole. It can either be in the centre or wherever you want to place it. So what I'm going to do now is switch to there we go. So I'm going to put lower, press square. I'm going to lower the ground down a little bit. It doesn't have to be very far, it really doesn't. It's entirely up to you how far you go down with it. That's my first step. I'm going to come back out of there, then I'm going to go to the placeable, I'm going to place it. So that disc now is kind of lower, it's in that area. Now I can put this bit right in the middle if I want to. I could kind of put it offset if I want to, it's up to me, but I'm going to put it just there. And that is my water source placed. That's it placed. Now I could leave it, if I want to, just like that. That could be it. If that's as far as you want to go with it, that could be it. You don't have to do any more with it than that. But what you can do is you can increase the size of it. You can do all sorts of exciting things. So if we go on to start landscaping, so what I can do now, as long as I don't go further up the disc, remember this is in the centre, so I can come out here, and if I lower a bit down there, it will fill up with the water from there. And you can pretty much make it any shape you want, really, as long as it's, you don't go out beyond the size of that disc. I could make this circle smaller, I could make it a rectangle, whatever. That could be my water source if I wanted to. I could go right in the middle and make that much, much deeper if I wanted to. I could leave a raised bit, whatever I want to do. Once I've done that, I can then change the landscaping mode, L3, so we go into paint mode, then scroll across until I get a sand texture. I think that's a sandy type texture. I'm going to scroll that right down small. And I can kind of put the sort of beachy side bits in. That might be mud actually rather than, but as you can see, if I do that in the middle, it's hard because you can't actually, if I do it in the bottom, it changes the texture, because at the moment the bottom of my pond is grass, because that's what I've flattened it out at. But as you can see, just underneath the water there, I'm changing the bottom texture of it, so I can change it to whatever I want really. At the end of the day, it's entirely up to me. And you can kind of design it however you want, but at the end of the day, that's it. That's your water source placed. You can make it whatever shape, design you want, however deep you want, all that kind of thing. Obviously, the more you do to it, the more you're going to pay in landscaping fees. So rather than paying a tiny little bit to make a small hole, then $500 to place it, or pounds, euros or dollars, you could end up spending a fortune landscaping a whole big area. But again, it gives you options. You can have a nice water feature at your farm, a small pond, a large pond, an L-shaped pond. You know, it really is entirely up to you how you want to do it. I think I'm not sure, but I think, let me just do that. If I lower this bit here, yeah, there you go. So if I wanted to, because that's still within the disc, I've kind of got a separate little water area. Again, whatever you want to do with it. But that's the basics of it. What you do with it after that is entirely up to you. But as you can see now, you've got this kind of muddy, gravelly bit that comes down into there, which can go further down depending on how deep you want to do it. That bit I haven't done, that's where it was the grass, but again, you can do whatever you want with it. What I'm going to do now is whiz over, and you can see where I went outside the disc, and that's kind of what you want to avoid really, if you can. So what should happen now, if I turn this on, now as far as I'm aware, and again, I think this is right, as soon as you get to the edge of the disc, because that's how big the placeable is technically, it will come up with the option to fill the tool. It should come up with the option to fill the tool. There we go. So it says start filling, so I've come up next to it. If I start filling now, it's free to fill. So realistically, if you did a very small hole and you placed it for $500, you've got free water for a little bit over $500. I mean, probably maximum $1,000, I guess, if you wanted to just do a very small one, up to as expensive as you want to go. But that's the first mod, and I really like that. That's by Dorset. It's a brilliant feature, nice thing to add into the landscaping design of things. Very, very cool. Nice textures, it looks good, and it's very compatible. Now, I haven't had, again, I've had no blue screen, I haven't had anything glitch or go funny on me, but I've only literally just placed it, had a bit of a play around with it and had a look at it, and that's, you know, that's all I know at the moment. The longer you have it, the bigger you make it. I really don't know whether you're going to have any issues. You shouldn't do, but there you go. That's the first one. So that's the pond water store. The second one, we've got a Fliegl Trailer Pack. This is a nice one. This is by VNSFDG2. Always try and get that right. Very, very neat, tidy, clean, very crisp looking mod pack. This is in the same category as the Strautmann SEK802, that kind of thing, but it has a nice few features on this and a few options available. There are actually two separate trailer types. You've got your solid frame here, and you've got your swivel axle. So you've got your solid frame with a double axle at the back, and then you've got your swivel axle, still double axle, but the front one is the swiveling one. The animations and the details with the cables and the hookups and the hydraulic lines and that kind of stuff, or pneumatic lines, could be pneumatic. But anyway, very, very nice. Daisy chains, each one of them has got a hook on the back, so you can hook all these up in a long line. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick look in store at the options available. So if we scroll across and we go to trailers, Now you can do this again. You can go into the individual category, or if you want to, you can scroll right L1 right to the end, and you can go into brands first if you wanted to. So you go and find it under brands, and then find Fleegle if you wanted to do it that way around. It's entirely up to you, but I just kind of going through trailers, so I just find that a little bit easier. We go right to the end, and we've got the Fliegl TDK 160. That's the solid frame, and then you've got the DK 160, which is the swivel axle. Interesting, the starting prices are different. I'm not entirely sure why, to be honest with you. So we'll start off with the TDK 160, which is the solid frame. They have a maximum capacity of 18,600, but they are a little bit more pricey, because if you go to the Stratman SEK, right down this end, that's got a maximum capacity of 12,000 litres, and that's 8,000 to buy. So they are a bit more pricey, but they do have a larger capacity. They'll go up to 18.6, so you've got another 6,600 litre capacity potentially. But if we have a look at it in the store, which is kind of what we've already looked at, but our options available, we can go capacity down to bale loading wagon, and what I like is you've got a bale loading wagon with a front end to kind of prop your bales up against. But what you can also do, the next one up from that puts a back on it, so it kind of sandwiches in both in between, which is rather cool. We can then go up to the 5,700 litre capacity, then we can go up another notch up to 11,300, then 18,600. So it's those kind of segments you can put on. So those are your options. You can also go from, hang on, why is that not going across? There we go. Trelleborgs or Michelins or Lizards on this one. So we've got our Lizard tyres, Trelleborgs, Michelins are your options for tyres. Now what you can also do is you can change the main colour. You've got two greens. You've got the sort of darker Fleegle green, which is almost like a Fent green. Or if you go into this one, you've got the much brighter, almost a class kind of green. It's that kind of green to it, which is very nice indeed. So that's the TDK 160. Very nice addition to the game. Like I say, it's a little bit more pricey. If you go up to the 18,600, you're looking at 22,650. You know, and then obviously if you change, because that's got wheel set up at $750 as well. So the prices can go up, but it has got a larger capacity. So I guess it swings and roundabouts, however you want to look at it. And again, it's options. It's nice to have something a bit different in game, so you haven't got to use the same trailers all the time. So the other option then is the swivel axle, the DK 160, and pretty much identical in all honesty, apart from the fact it's got the swivel axle on the front. We have got our options of bale loading wagon with front and rear. Then we've got 5,700, 11,300 and 18,600. And then we've got Lizard, Trelleborg. Now, interestingly with this one though, they almost look like low profiles. When you go on the Trelleborgs, the Lizard ones like that, the Trelleborgs, they look really cool actually. I do like those. I don't know why. They just got a really kind of low profile-y kind of look to them. But anyway, and then we can also change the main colour again from that green to that green. Those are the Fliegl TDK 160 and DK 160 trailers. Very, very nice indeed. Which brings me on to the last of the mods, and this is an interesting one, a very, very cool one. There are parts of this that I really, really like, and there's a couple of bits that it's just I've got to get used to them, I think. But we've got a whole load of stuff here in this pack, and this is the Bag and Lifter Pack by Not Ready. First impressions, straight off the bat, very, very neat. Very, very tidy. Now, I don't know, and I'm concerned that this is a mistake. A typo somewhere along the line. And if it is, this could cause an issue. We'll see. So we've got some big bags here. We've got a big bag of seed. We've got lime, and we've got seed, lime and fertilizer. The fertilizer's in the blue. Lime and seed. And then we've got herbicide and we've got fertilizer. I think that one's the herbicide, I think. And that one's the fertilizer. We'll have a look in the store in a moment anyway. Oh yeah, it says fertiliser right there, look. And that one says herbicide, so yeah, that would be the right way around. And then we've got these two, well, there's actually kind of three contraptions in here. So I'm going to look at these under lizard. It'll be a little bit easier to look at them in store first. So if I scroll across, then we go across the lizard, which will be, there we go, lizard, and then we scroll across till we get to them. We'll get there in a minute. So we go past all the bags. Now, we have got the Lizard 1300 XL, and that's a big bag lifter with a 3-point linkage to go onto whatever you've got with a 3-point linkage. I was going to say a tractor, but anything with a 3-point linkage. We've then got the Lizard Tool X 1500. That is compatible with the Lizard 1300 XL. Then we've got the Lizard Bag Mount. That's for telehandlers. And then we've got the bags themselves. Now this is where I'm a bit uncertain. The big bags say they're 2,000 litres, which is fantastic because the pricing is a bit unusual. The big bag for seeds is exactly the same as the ones that come in game standard. A seed big bag standard is 900 for 1,000 litres. That's 2,000 litres for 1,800. So it's exactly the same price. 900, 1,800. If we scroll right across, we'll get back to these. So yeah, seed big bag is 900, so we're paying 1,800 for double the amount. Fantastic, that's really, really good. When we look at the next one over though, this is the one that's key for me, I think, is big bag fertiliser. That's 2,000 litres for £3,200, euros or dollars. For 1,000 litres of the standard in-game one, it's 1,920. If you double that up, that's 3,840. So that's £640, euros or dollars cheaper than the in-game one. So that's good. That's impressive. I like that. I'm impressed with that massively. And then the lime, weirdly, is a bit more expensive. It's 4,000 litres, and the lime bag normally is 450 for 2,000. So again, it's doubled up. 450 and 450 is 900. So that's actually £90, euros or dollars more expensive than the lime bags you get in game. So it's a bit weird. We've got one that's the same price, one that's cheaper, and one that's more expensive. So a bit odd there. I'm not quite sure about that. Now this is the one I'm concerned about because we've got herbicide tanks, and again, these look face value to be incredibly good. The herbicide tank is 2,500. The in-game one is 2,400, I think. But it's 2,400 for 2,000 litres. This one is 2,500 for 3,000 litres. That's what it says on this screen here, 3,000 litres. If we move on to this one, the liquid fertiliser, that's 2,800 for 3,000 litres. That's what it says on this screen. The standard in-game one is 3,200 for 2,000 litres. So that actually works out, both of these, that one you're getting 1,000 litres more for £100, euros or dollars. That one is cheaper for an extra 1,000. But that's only if that's correct. And that's what worries me, because when we come off of here and we look on these bags, that bag there, where are we? Not the bag, the pallets. That says 2,000 litre there, and that says 2,000 litre there, but on the menu it says 3,000 litres. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't tried picking up pallet forks or anything yet. This is just solely based upon what it says on the box kind of thing. I suppose what I should do really is get some pallet forks and lift them up. So what we're going to do then, that's the actual bags and the IBCs, pallets, whatever you want to call them. These are the bits of machinery. So first things first, let's grab a telehandler. Now this first one is the bag kind of carrier, what was it called? Oh, I need to get that right. So let's hook up. Now this is, I like this, I think it's a very clever idea. It will depend on the telehandler you're using and how much weight you can carry. I've still got the menu open just because it just makes life a little bit easier. And these are actually quite forgiving, I have to say. If I can get that just right, drop that down a bit. and go onto those. We can kind of get onto both those, I think. There we go. So we go onto both of those. If I come around this side and then lift. I love the fact that when you lift that the straps stretch. How cool is that? The straps stretch and we can lift them up off the floor. So we can kind of transport them. If you tip it back, they will slide down that pole a little bit. Let's go back a bit and stop. Oh, that's weird. They did a minute ago. They will go down. Now, when you do that, you can get, I think, 6 on here, 3 on each side. Now that's going to put a lot of weight on this, so I'll probably go with 4. But the great thing with the telehandler is, because you can lift it right up for loading up your seeders and fertiliser spreaders and that kind of thing, you get a nice lot of height and elevation to unload into. That's a really cool bit of kit. I like that. I think it's very clever. And when you're moving around, you can tip that right back, so there's no way they're going to come flying off the front or anything. Very, very cool. I do like. I love the fact they stretch. I think that's so clever. It's a nice little touch, that. So if I put them back down, let them set on the ground, it does, like I say, it does give you a bit of leeway. I can come kind of right into the bag and then back out, and they don't get hung up or anything like that. I did knock one of those bags over. If anyone remembers Weebles, I don't know if you remember Weebles. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. It did that. They rocked and fell over, but then rolled back up and stood back up again, which was one of the things on 17. I know in real life, if you knock one over, it's knocked over. You can't do a thing about that. But these ones, they kind of pop back up again, which I think is actually quite handy. Right, so that's the first of them there. Turn it off. Now we'll jump into our Massey Ferguson. And we'll hook up to our 3-point link. So this is actually the 2-part. You've got the crane itself, the lifter, and we'll have a quick look in the store, because the lifter itself, oh, sorry, it means scrolling all the way across again. We'll get there in a minute. It's always difficult doing these kind of guide to look at assistance videos when you've got multiple mods, because the actual review itself is going to take longer because there are more mods to look at. But right, so we've got the Lizard 1300 XL. That's the big bag lifter. If we click on that, we've got a couple of options available. We have got the standard blue yellow, and then we go across and we've got original Lizard, which is black, and MrSealyp green, the lime green. I like that. That's very, very cool. Those are your 2 options. So you can have it in the blue and green or black and green. And then you've got the Lizard Tool X 1500. So that was the Lizard bag mount. That was the name of it, the bag mount. So you can use the crane on its own, the Lizard 1300 XL, which becomes in essence a single bag lifter. So what I can do, and use a bit of fiddling around here, but I can raise and lower this arm like so. Let's get into a position we can see it a bit better. That's probably a bit better. Raise and lower that. It does kind of, when you let go, the control does keep going for a bit. And then if I do R1, I think it's up and down, and go in and out with that as well. So you've got quite a bit of reach on this. I didn't mean to put my beacons on. Quite a bit of reach on that. And what I can do with this whole assembly is lower the bag lifter down or raise the bag lifter up. So what I will do, if I just put that down and switch on to, make sure I'm on the right one, that, and detach it like so. Let's just drop that on the floor for a moment. If I go over the bag like so, Lizard Genetics big bag fertilizer. Now if I want to be more realistic, I can extend the arm out like so, and try and get that kind of, lower that down a little bit and kind of really hook up. As soon as that comes up, I can attach it, lift the bag up. Again, we get a bit of stretch. Like I say, there's a bit of residual movement after you stop on the controls. It does keep going a bit. But that, in essence, that you can drive that around with your bag on there, and then when you want to load up your seeder or whatever it is you're loading up, lift it up high enough, and away you go. So it's that's rather cool. I do like that. It can get a bit fiddly, I guess. It would be a bit fiddly, and something I have found, I tested this back at the store, you cannot, I haven't been able to anyway, let's detach it, drop that off. I haven't been able to directly fill a seeder or the fertiliser spreader from the bags. You have to lift the bags up. So unlike the in-game ones you can pull up next to them and automatically load, this one you can't. So what I'll do is let's hook that back up, and I know that's not hyper realistic, let's be honest. So let's switch to the right one and lift. There's like so many controls because I'm flicking between. Now this is where we've got to be a little bit more careful, and it's a tiny little thing I noticed, and I thought it's worth mentioning. When you've got two IBCs pallets quite close together, if you try and hook up to these and use the straps, it kind of tries to strap both at the same time. Although the straps only go around one, it tries... no, don't do that. It tries to do both, so yeah, we have to be a little bit careful how we do this. But it's a good thing to highlight because it can happen, and it's a little bit frustrating. Now you can, with this, the cross member, the toolbar thing, you can hook up a bag with this if you wanted to. If I can get over the bag, of course. Like so. Lower that down. Back up a little bit. I can fasten tension straps like so and pick up a bag if you want to do it like that. I don't think it's designed for the bags, so I think that's what the hook's for, but you probably wouldn't do that. Let's unfasten those. But it is very good for the IBCs, and that's kind of, I suppose, what it's designed for. And it's a bit fiddly. I like the fact we've got the big bags, and if the weights and stuff are correct, we could actually be onto a winner with this, because it will make doing those kind of jobs a lot better. So if I get over that, go down a little bit, and then fasten tension belts like so. Now it doesn't give a weight because I'm assuming, like I say, it needs to be with a pallet. And there we go, we've got our IBC, our pallet lifted up. It does wobble about a little bit. I haven't had it come out yet, it hasn't fallen out, but that will transport them. And if you want to use that then to load up whatever you're loading up into, that could be a little bit trickier if you're using the Hardy sprayer, the Rubicon. So I don't think this is going to go high enough to reach into that. But anyway, that in essence is it. That's what it does. It will pick up and drop off, and you can use it as the crane on its own. You can use it with the cross member toolbar, but it picks up the bags and pallets. I think what I will do very, very quickly before I end, I think, is whiz back over to the store. But I like that. That's by Not Ready. That whole lifter pack with the bags, all of that stuff, all comes under the mods by Not Ready. Very, very cool. It works very, very well. Like I say, it would be a little bit fiddly. You can't. I haven't been able to work out how to manually attach the tension straps with a box or bag under here. It worked from the cab. But anyway, I'm going to go and grab the telehandler. Go and grab some forks. And what I'll do is grab a pallet, and we'll see what it says on there, because I'm curious now as to whether it is 2,000 or 3,000 litres. So I'll see you back at the store in a minute, and we'll check that out, because I think that's probably important to know. Okay, so I've got the pallet forks. We have the fertiliser pallet IBC from the pack. Once I hook this up or pick it up, it should tell us what the capacity is. We shall see. It says 3,000. So on the tank itself it says 2,000. If we zoom in on that, 2,000 litre. But according to this, it's 3,000. So the fact it's 3,000, well worth the money. Absolutely brilliant. 3,000 litres. The fertiliser's cheaper by a load, and the herbicide, you get an extra 1,000 litres for peanuts. Next to nothing. So I mean, even if you don't use the crane arm or anything like that, just the bags and the IBCs alone are well worth it. What I will do though, drop that down before I finish. There we go. I think I was under the pallet. So what I'm going to do is try it with the forks, because like I say, couldn't get this to auto load. So what I'll try and do, it might be a little bit harder to do with this than it is with that lifting arm, but we'll put this in. We can, like so. 4,000 litres. And there we go. So I think it's to give that kind of slightly sort of more realistic, that you've got to unload it from the bags rather than just pull up next to it and it kind of somehow by osmosis moves into the thing. But it does work like that. So fantastic. A nice selection of mods. I really do like these actually. The pond is brilliant. I think it's a fantastic idea and really adds to it. Nice selection of trailers, and then the bag and lifter pack by Not Ready. So Dorset, VNSFDG2 and Not Ready. Fantastic mods. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.